Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Paige Ryans, and today we are talking about the 24th Annual Garden State Film Festival. We are just a few short weeks away from March 26th through March 29th with over 200 incredible films from various countries you can experience. 9 different venues throughout Asbury Park and Cranford, New Jersey. Tickets are available now at gsff.org/tickets, and there will also be tickets available at the door. And now to meet today's filmmakers, I am here with the creators of Two Wolves. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yes, it's so great to have you here. We're very excited to talk about your film. Congrats on your acceptance. Why don't we start by just going around? If you could just share, just introduce yourselves with your title, your name, and then we'll jump into what the film's about.
Great. Okay, I'll go first. I'm Gabriella Tolman, and I'm the writer, director, and co-producer of Two Wolves.
Very nice. Welcome.
Maria?
I'm Maria Loss, actor and also producer on the short.
Awesome.
I'm Lily Garcia, and I'm the producer on the short.
Very cool. Well, welcome again. Thank you for being here. And Gabriella, why don't you kick us off and tell us about Two Wolves?
Sure. So the idea came to me. I've actually had it in the back of my mind for a really long time. Many years ago, I heard the story about two different brothers, and one of them was on death row, and he was about to get executed, and they asked him, a journalist asked him questions. There was interviews and questions, and they were, he had committed some heinous crimes, and they asked him, why did this happen? And he said, I grew up with a lot of abuse, the worst kind of circumstance. I had a terrible upbringing. And he just went on to name all these terrible things that had happened to him. And he said, what else could I do? I had no other choice. And he had a brother that was being awarded, was very successful for the work that he was doing. And they went to the brother and they said, why, how did your life turn out this way? Why did your life turn out this way? And he gave the exact same answer. I'd had terrible upbringing. I had all kinds of abuse, all kinds of trauma. So I had no other choice. So that story really stayed with me. And I always thought it would make a really interesting film. So I basically humanized that story and, turned it into two sisters. And then I was working on a project with Maria Elena, and I pitched it to her. And, I was really focusing on this idea of like same upbringing, same family, but taking one story and, one going one direction with it and the other going, completely opposite direction.
Wow, that's very interesting. And I think, like you said, about just like the two perspectives and just kind of how, just the two perspectives. I think that's really a really interesting and different approach to that. Was there a specific inspiration for the title of the film?
Yes, it's based on, the Cherokee parable, Two Wolves. I don't know if you know about it, but it's basically this young grandson asks his grandfather, one night he's struggling and he's like, he's dealing with like anger and sadness. And the grandfather says, there's two wolves inside of you. One is like anger, sadness, depression, anxiety. And the other one is joy, gratitude, hope. And then the grandson turns to the grandfather and says, well, which one wins? And the grandfather says, the one you feed. So that story is, it's very much in our culture. Lately I've been seeing for the past few years, so many references, so many memes about two wolves. And so that was the title. That's the inspiration for the title, is the Cherokee parable.
Wow. That's a really fascinating, and a very fascinating, like, that's really cool. That's really, yeah.
We didn't want to victim shame at all, though, you know. So we were, and you know, I really discussed this with Maria Elena, who came onto the project very early on, and we discussed this idea of like victims. You know, we did not want to victim shame that, like, the sister who's really traumatized and isn't able to transcend her trauma. You know, and that's why we added certain things into the script, and maybe Mary Elena can share that. You know, which was very much about like. Not, you know, it depends on what happens to you in your life. So, you know, Marilena, do you remember us discussing that?
Yeah, we were talking a lot. Also, just this idea of that you can have siblings in the same family and their lives go in separate directions, right? And so, and how fascinating that is. And so, instead of sort of placing the blame as the audience on them, or also maybe labeling each person individually, it's more of, oh wow, this is how trauma affected them, and this is how it ended up playing out. And they both did what they could with what they had, but this is the unfortunate reality for so many people, right? And also just the way that we each look at the world, and our minds are all, you know, a little different. And so yeah, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't this sort of, yeah, the victim shaming or even like a sob story in a way either. Just more of look, we make choices in our life, you know, based on what we know and what we think is going to be the best for us. And it's a beautiful sort of meditation on that, where you take a step back and you see how it's played out, and you get it. You don't have to uncover so much of it, but you just, you know, we all understand.
Yeah.
We did add one line to the script, which was, and I had people who believed in me. So the sister who like really transcends her trauma is, you know, she makes a point, is like, I had people who supported me along the way. So
Yeah. I think what I think this film does very well is like the intention behind, like, especially like the dialogue and like the words and everything. Cause even in your, um, like, you know, the inspiration for it, I feel like it's very intentional about just the way that it sets up the story, just sharing two different perspectives, you know. And I think that that's what it really does. It's just showing, it's a story of two stories, two perspectives, two siblings that, you know, different routes. And I think it just, again, it's just that two perspectives is really showing the audience, you know. But I think it's really told in a way that's like intentional, and again, like you said, just doesn't place blame. And Lily, what was your, how did you kind of get drawn to this project?
I got approached by Marilena. Her and I go way back. We got introduced by friends, and we both work in the industry, but we have never crossed paths on an actual project. And it just happened that I was available. She was looking for somebody to come on board. And when she told me exactly about the project, I was like, Simon, let me be part of this. And that's how we got introduced, the three of us, Gabriela, Marlena, and from there we went on to get out into this adventure. And I'm very happy that now we're here talking to you.
Yeah. I'm happy to have you here. I mean, truly, I'm already, we've only been chatting for almost 10 minutes, and it really, I feel like I've learned so much. I've learned so much more, like a different perspective from, I just always love conversations like these, because I'm able to see and learn things that I maybe haven't caught before. And so it's really insightful. And so I'm very excited for that. Sorry. And so what were any challenges? And a question for all of you.
We should say there was none. Everything was very smooth, and we got it. But you know how it is. It's
So that's not filmmaking.
we're filmmakers, and
Yeah.
you know, we always have to have challenges along the way. and I think it was meant to be, when all the stars align, no matter how many bumps are on the road, you just like pass every single one of them. And I think it's all started for, if I can now think about from the day we started to here, it was Gabriela and Marilena had to be in the same page where we said, do we go for this? Then I have to come in. And then Marilena was like the link between Gabriela and I. And then from there, we're like, okay, one step at a time. And when we were on an actual production, when you have no money, it's just miracles after miracles, I call it.
It was very ambitious. And we pulled so many
exactly.
and we just and also when I say ambitious, there's a lot of locations, for a short film, and a lot of people involved, a lot of extras in the cast, and so but we wanted that. We wanted something that had that big production value feeling, that was just like clean, and I know it's much easier in a lot of filming to try to do something with one location, and we've all done that, and we know it has its own challenges, interestingly enough, but we wanted this to feel bigger. And because of that, there were obviously a lot of challenges with locations and people and availability and all of that. But the puzzle came together. So
yeah, a lot of collaboration.
Yeah, we had a lot of angels. Like our cinematographer Florian Stadler was one of them, where he really liked the project, and so he got brought his whole crew, and they were all working for minute version of their rates. And he had a huge truck that he brought that we were all kind of surprised to see too. We're like, oh my gosh, all this equipment. And he did a beautiful job. He also helped us with color correction, and but the edit was a process, and it often can be, and people to agree on the same thing.
And the fact that we have a great cast, which, by the way, it just came that we were very lucky that we had, well, Marilena again, we have Paola Nunez on our short, Marilena, and then we have two young actresses. It was really like one thing just added value to the other one. First it came in the cast, and then we have Florian, and then we have all these professionals, behind, in front and behind the camera that made it possible. And because otherwise, I don't think we had.
And we were lucky too, because it was a lot of the industry has quieted down, and it was at a time where it was just like really quiet. And so here we had people that are usually on set all the time, heads of departments of this, of that, and that just wanted to play for a weekend, and then and we're cool with it. And so I was really lucky timing.
Yeah,
too.
The stars really aligned. It sounds.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love when the stars align. Especially for this project, because I feel like it captured everything in. It's about 6 minutes. Am I estimating that?
Yeah, it's 6:44.
Okay.
So almost 7. Yeah,
Almost 7. But I feel like. Oh, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I think it captures like Maria. I think you were, or Maria Elena. I think you were speaking to just kind of like being able to capture everything into like that film production essence, and I think you did just that within the 7 minutes. I feel like it had everything. Questions answered, everything was in there, so I think it was just really great. I think it sounds like you had a great team. Stars aligned very well, and you were able to just really create a very impactful project. And so like, what do each of you hope, what do you hope audiences take away? What do you hope resonates with audiences after watching this film?
Should I go first?
You wanna go first? Go first.
Sure. Well, really, obviously trauma is something that we all deal with, especially now, and I mean, I don't know, especially now, maybe always, but it's a very intense time in the world right now. And a lot of people are, in some kind of PTSD, more and more things are being revealed to us about the world we live in certain ways. And so my hope is that this film will help people feel less alone, in that trauma, and help them understand that it's, part of the human experience, and that at some point, there's a choice where, you can choose love, or you can choose fear, or you can choose hatred, or you can, choose to see the best in humanity. And that choice, the love choice, is the liberating choice. That's the choice that helps us transcend and become like the best humans we can be, and unites us. So, a glimmer of that, a glimpse of that would be incredible.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I love that.
Yeah, that was
that's right on. I'm hoping that also that it makes people sort of reflect on their own family and their own dynamics, and just really take into account for themselves too, this idea of how everyone can take that same childhood, that can take that same trauma, and with their own skills, with their own awareness and their own willingness to look into it, can move past, not past, but move forward through it. Yeah, and I know from plenty of people who've watched it that already it's so nice. It's made them think of their family dynamics, and I think that's awesome.
When I first read this script, and when we were within production, there was this question within me, like, why do we put drama out there? Shouldn't we be focusing on comedy, because it's such a dark times all around? But now actually it makes sense to have it on there. And I'm going to echo what Gabriela and Marilena had just said. I think it's a good reminder to all of us to, put on a position that what do you want to be? You want to be in the dark or in the light? And it's up to us to be in the love side. There's could be so many bad things happen to you, but at the end, it's your choice to pick the light. And I think right now, this is a great time to do this. We even though there's so much darkness around us in the whole world, I think I strongly believe that if I believe in light, I will be passing light to everybody around me, and the ones around me will be pass light to the ones around them, and it becomes a ripple effect.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I'm so proud of this. I'm very proud of this piece, and I just hope people can enjoy it. More people can enjoy and can watch it. So I'm very happy that you guys have selected us, and I can't wait for people's feedback.
Yeah.
We're excited to be part of Garden State, definitely.
We're excited to have you as part of it. We're excited to be able to share this film with audiences, and just for them to be able to experience this, and also just kind of see those themes come throughout and be, and resonate with them. So, and then my as we come to the conclusion of the interview, my final question for you is, each of you, is, will you be joining us in person for the festival this year?
Yes.
Okay. I can't because I got a little one due in those days.
Congratulations.
So I can't travel.
It's so exciting.
Yeah. Doctor's only giving me like another week left.
Wow.
Before I can do anything. So,
well, congratulations.
But thank you. But I'm there in spirit.
Hope for new life into the world.
Yes. New life.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I am hoping to join, so I'm excited. I've heard so many amazing things about Garden State. I've had many friends who've screened their films there, and they love it.
Yay! We're excited to have you here. And what about you, Lily? Will you be here joining us?
Yes, I'll be there. Gabriela and I will be there.
Awesome. And Maria Elena, you'll be here in spirit. At least Gabrielle and Lily will both be here. But we'll be. We're very excited to showcase your film. It's just going to be, I think, a very rewarding experience. And so for our viewers online, you can check out Two Wolves. It'll be screening. And again, so on Saturday, March 28th at the Berkeley Continental, BC 26, between 2:50 and 4:50 p.m. And again, for our viewers, we will see you at the Garden State Film Festival. 200 films from various countries, 9 different venues throughout Asbury Park and Cranford, New Jersey. It's officially countdown. You can get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. And once again, Lily, Gabriella, Maria Elena, thank you, ladies, so much for being here. Truly, it's such a pleasure.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
Yes, I really enjoyed the conversation. And we'll see you in a few short weeks at the festival. All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.